This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by OOMM Board Games and No Escape. Can you escape Titan Station? No Escape is a fast-paced strategic maze-building tile-laying game for 2 to 8 players. Use actions against each other, play maze tiles to increase the maze for your opponents, and move using a creative dice system. A game takes approximately 30 minutes and is easy to set up and take down, which makes it an ideal game for travel or family events. Be the first to find the escape pod. For everyone else, there is no escape. This game is launching to Kickstarter in the AM tomorrow, so make sure you pay attention to that. Click the link and listen till after the Kickstarter so you can find out all about this great game, as I have Jonathan on to talk to us about it. Then you'll be ready tomorrow to back the game. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is also proudly powered by Stupid Users Beta Card Game. Stupid Users is a unique, fast-paced, ever-changing, item-looting, arm-building game based off of the comic book that the creator created. We'll have the creators on to talk all about this in tomorrow's episode after the Kickstarter Corner, so stay tuned so you can hear all about it. This game is launching to Kickstarter on the 4th of September from Damp Ventures, so make sure you go ahead and click on the notify button up at the top so you'll be notified when this project launches. Yeah, notify me of launch in the top left hand corner. We'll leave links in the show notes. Now hang on until after Kickstarter Corner so you can hear our great interview with Jonathan from OOMM Games.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leafs computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leafs.
There's a couple or a lot of awesome games that are on the Kickstarters currently. We'll bring you a few in today's Kickstarter Corner. Do you like baseball? Then you're going to love All-Star Lineup Baseball, fast-paced tabletop baseball. All-Star Lineup Baseball, fast-paced, head-to-head, or solo baseball action on your tabletop. We had Craig the creator on a while back ago, and what I like about this game from talking to him is everything is on the table. You don't have to keep referring back to, as Little Leaf calls it, the collector's manual, or the rules as we like to refer to them by. If you like this kind of game, I would definitely check out the Kickstarter page. We'll leave links in the show notes like usual. And you better hurry and get on this one. By the time you're hearing it, it probably has about 48 hours to go. So it's drawing to a close. So definitely check this one out as it ends on Friday, the 31st of August at 3:53 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So you better get in so you can get in on the baseball action for your tabletop. Next, Dark Naga, OSR Haunting of Hastur modules. If you like role-playing games, all 5 parts of the Haunting of Hastur series are in print for the OSR. That means old school rules. And this project recently reached its goal. At the time of this recording, they were $22 overfunded or over their goal, and they still have through this Sunday, the 2nd of September. So definitely check out Dark Naga OSR Haunting of Hastur modules. If you have any questions, go back and listen to my interview that I had with Kevin a while back ago to find out if this is your thing. Can you rub your tummy and pat your belly at the same time while listing off the different planets in the solar system? Do you like laughing with others while they try to complete other fun and bizarre tasks? Then definitely check out Survival of the Dummies, a party game for underachievers. In this trivia-based party game, teams take turns answering questions while being distracted by ridiculous or frustrating instructions. Back the full game on Kickstarter or try before you pledge with the free print-at-home demo at survivalofthedummies.com/subscribe. We'll leave all the links in the show notes. But this one you have through Saturday the 8th of September to back this great game. So go check it out before the other people survive you. Next is Battle of the Bosses. Battle of the Bosses is a multiplayer miniature battle arena game for 2 to 6 players, where each of you controls an epic boss and their minions. And Barbarian Leaf and I were totally geeking out over their miniatures a couple days ago or a couple episodes ago, and you still have through Friday the 14th of September. So definitely check out Battle Bosses by Kesco Company. Go back and listen to my interview with Alex if you have any questions about that one. Next, did you ever play Truth or Dare as a kid? Then you'll definitely want to check out this new game by Jackwagon. It's a strategic party game for people like yourself. Players perform challenges to earn Badonka dollars. The most money after 60 to 90 minutes wins. They reach their goal, and you still have through Sunday the 16th of September to back this game. As we're a family-friendly podcast, as you know, the one we can get behind is their family-friendly model, which is option 1. It's PG-13, so to play their family-friendly way, play the green challenge deck only by removing the jacked up cards and excluding the Jackwagon deck, our family-friendly version, acceptable for teens ages 13 to adult. So that's the one we can get behind here on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Next, do you like zombies? Then you might like Zombs, a half-brained card game. It's a fast, fun, zombie-themed retro-style card game featuring a flying pig and a unicorn riding a tank. That's right. And if you go back and listen to Monday's episode, I believe that's when we talked to the creator of Zombs, a half-brained card game. This one you have through Friday the 21st of September, so definitely check out Zombs, a half-brained card game. It looks fun, and there's also an awesome comic to go along with it. Reminds me of the Garbage Pail Kids, and that's where they drew some of their inspiration. Dragon Dreams, a Luminous Ages card game. Standalone and expandable card game. Choose one of 4 decks or combine them all. Choose your Dragon God and dominate. Fast, fun, and easy to learn. They've reached their goal, and there's still 6 days to go at the time of the recording. So you have through the 5th of September, so next Wednesday, to back this great game. It was funded in 15 hours, and all the stretch goals were unlocked. It's awesome. If you like a dragon, definitely check it out, as there's awesome dragons on it. And we had the creator on the show a while back ago. You can go back and listen to that. It looks like they're still going for some of their stretch goals, so definitely jump on the fun and get some awesome cards with dragons on them and become the best dragon god and dominate your friends in Dragon Dreams, a Luminous Ages card game by Anthony. So you don't have much time to get in on the fun. If you like Cthulhu and you need a new calendar, definitely check out the Year of Cthulhu, a 2019 calendar. It's a calendar featuring Cthulhu and other mythos strangeness, featuring the artwork of Evgeny Malonshenkov. 12 fantastic images for your 2019. Definitely check out the Year of Cthulhu, a 2019 calendar. Next is Simulation Theory board game, STG. Do you trust your reality? You definitely should check out this great game, a board game for 1 to 5 that explores the theme where your universe may just be a complex simulation. 3 realities, 3 modes, 1 game. If you have any questions, definitely go back and listen to the episode where I sat down with Mark Coe to talk all about it in episode 178. our Wishlist Wednesday on Saturday, Simulation Theory board game. We talked all about Mark and the expansive universe that he created in making this great board game, which is also in the same world as their RPG and trading card game. It funded in 18 hours and they're going strong. There's still 11 days to go as they're going through Sunday, September 9th. Now we join this interview already in progress.
Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
You are newly arrived recruits to Titan Station when the unthinkable occurs. Core containment breach. With your direct escape route cut off, you must flee and find an escape pod. But to your horror, you realize most of the remaining escape pods have been destroyed. Your initial briefing told you about one emergency pod somewhere in these maintenance corridors. Find it before somebody else does. One of you can make it out. For everyone else, there is no escape.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me neither. Well, actually it did, because we actually had the creator mastermind behind this great game, No Escape, on a previous episode of Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, but we wanted to welcome back Jonathan, the creator mastermind of No Escape. Is that correct, Jonathan? Is that how you fall in line with No Escape?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm the designer of it and essentially running everything for the Kickstarter here as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us once again on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Glad we could have you back on. So before we get into that, perhaps somebody hasn't listened to, they didn't listen to your previous episode, so they don't know you or whatnot. Let's rewind a little bit if we could. But how did you get started into playing tabletop board games and whatnot, Jonathan?
Playing tabletop board games, it kind of happened, just encouraged a little bit in my family as I was growing up. We had different games like Survive, which has in the last few years been re-released as the 30th anniversary edition for Survive Escape Atlantis. We had the standard games, Monopoly and all of that. And we tried to just have some family time for board games every once in a while.
Awesome. I just recently talked to somebody who else has gotten in through the Survive, the 30th edition or whatnot. So that's interesting. Like it was just a couple days ago or whatnot.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of people end up taking a hiatus. Like they'll get into gaming, do it as a kid or whatnot, and then they go on hiatus and then find it through hobby gaming is today. Did same thing happen to you or something similar?
Well, what happened with me actually is when we started having less and less family game nights, my best friend actually introduced me to D&D at the time. And so we started playing D&D and Battletech, and we just continued gaming off in the role-playing setting side of things. And board games for a while kind of went by the wayside. Didn't really have anyone to play with. But I never really forgot them, and actually started thinking up crazy little board game ideas during this period.
Yeah, so that's cool. So before we get into the real reason you're here, do you currently have, besides your game, do you currently have a different favorite game? Because if I let you pick your own game, who knows what my audience would end up doing.
Probably currently one of my favorite games would be Roll for the Galaxy.
Well, I think we have Race for the Galaxy, and they're a little bit different, aren't they?
Yeah, they're actually quite different. Same setting, same storyline idea for both games, but they play completely different.
Awesome. So things haven't changed, because if I recall, that might have been your favorite game back then when we spoke, whenever it was before.
I think it was either that or it was Scythe at the time.
Word on the street is, Jonathan, that you have a new game, but probably launching right after we come out with this episode. What can you tell us about No Escape?
Well, No Escape is a survival tile-laying game where the whole idea is the station is about to explode. There's only one escape pod left, and it can only fit one of you. Unfortunately, everyone's new recruits. You have no idea where anything is, so you're running for your life through corridors trying to figure out where this one remaining escape pod is. We did a few things with the game to make it different than other games in the tile laying genre, though, and especially with trying to escape and find things. Unlike other games, you're not looking for a specific tile. You're just trying to get off the board. If you manage to get off the board, you win. But of course, because it's competitive, everyone is constantly placing tiles in front of each other. You have actions that you're playing against each other constantly to try and mess each other up or to give yourself some slight advantage. The layout of the board can change drastically throughout the game, and some of the actions will allow you to switch around tiles or just completely get rid of some. So it's a very, very dynamic, very fast-paced game, all about trying to be the first one to get off the station.
Awesome. So per se, me and you sat down to play. What does a turn look like and whatnot?
So a standard turn, everyone first off has 3 tiles, and they can play an action tile from their hand if they wish to. They then must add to the maze and play a maze tile onto the board. They then have the option of using one of their limited supply of energy tokens, which gives them a bonus movement and allows them to jump other players. Then they roll and move. However, unlike other games that use a roll and move mechanic, one of the things that we did is instead of a standard D6, we used 2 3-sided dice, which allows movement to be a bit more normalized between all the players, and also ensures that no one ever rolls a 1.
Oh, okay, interesting. Why? What's the science behind that? Why didn't want anybody rolling a 1?
Well, essentially, when we were doing the playtesting with it, people just weren't finding it fun when they rolled a 1. Because they just felt like they were falling behind. Even though there's always different ways to catch up in the game, lots of different mechanics set up to make sure that everyone will always have an equal chance of winning, they just didn't find it fun if they only moved a 1 during their turn. So we just made sure to completely eliminate that chance.
That sounds like a good idea because, yeah, usually when you sit down to play a game, it's probably a good idea to try to have some fun at least.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we wanted. We wanted to make sure that when people sat down and played the game, that everyone was having a good time.
Well, that's good. That's awesome. So, and is there, let's see here. So I'm trying to get off the board or whatnot. So do we start like in the middle and then we're just putting tiles and trying to stop the others, or how's that look?
Yeah, it's actually pretty much like that. So you have a large starting tile, which is the size of 9 of the regular size tiles. So size of 3 by 3 of these regular tiles, and you start in the very center of it. You then have paths leading out from there to the corners of the board, where you're adding in the maze tiles to extend the map. Depending on how many players you're playing with will actually determine how many paths are open, because the starting board is actually double-sided. So you have, for lower player counts, you have one side which only has 4 exits from the start. For higher player counts, up to 8 players, you have actually 8 exits from the start. So it gives everyone a chance to go their own way if they wish and not feel completely crowded, but also makes sure that play stays closer together at the lower player count game.
Oh, okay, awesome. And it's 2 to 8 players, so we have the double-sided board so you can change it up. And it sounds like there's a lot of replayability in this game, is that right?
Yeah, because pretty much, especially being tile laying as it is, every game is going to be different. Every maze setup is going to be completely different. And one of the biggest aspects about how the game is going to be different every time as well is the actions. The actions really add a whole new element into the game because it allows you to do such things as quickly move across the board, or to switch around tiles on the board, or draw a whole bunch of tiles quickly and have a bigger hand. Bunch of different things that you can do to slow other players down, or to suddenly stop something they were about to do and make something else happen instead. So it adds a whole new variety into just moving through a maze.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks really cool and really fun. And like you said, you got rid of that mechanic, so it's even funner than it was before. So that's awesome. So, and we can delete this part. I can edit this out if I need to. But this isn't the first time you've been on Kickstarter with this. Is that correct?
No, this is actually the second time that we were on Kickstarter. The first time that we were on Kickstarter, we had a bunch of things happen. Some of them were definitely our fault. And some of them were beyond our control. One of the biggest mistakes that we made is we launched without having a big enough fan base. So we didn't spend enough time building our mailing list. We didn't spend enough time getting the word out there about the game. And when we launched, there just wasn't enough people that actually knew about the game.
And remind me when you launched last time. I forget when it was.
We launched in April last time.
Oh, okay, so you're back at it. So what have you done between April and now to build that list or whatnot?
Well, one of the big things that we've done is we've attended several conventions. We've had just for a very low amount of money, actually, just constant ads running. So just not a whole lot of money that we're putting into it, but just the idea of a constant ad stream that every once in a while will pop up for people to see. We also set up a more professional landing page for people to go to and actually look at it and sign up for the game instead of just our very basic, fairly bland website that we have. Biggest thing we did is we attended conventions. So we actually got the game out there for people to play test. We got involved even more than we were previously in the local game meetups communities, not just in our own town, but also in several other surrounding communities. And not just with bringing the game to them and demoing the game, but also helping with setting up anything that they needed, helping to make sure the events ran smoothly, helping to introduce new players that came to these games, to just games in general, and just generally being involved with the gaming community.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Like in some Facebook groups that I'm in recently, they were talking about getting more exposure this was for content creators, but I think the same thing would apply, but where they talk about where you want to be a part of the community, not just where you're like spamming people about your game or your content.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to make sure that people understand that you're there to give back just as much as you're there to try and get for yourself. So we all know that we're here to try and get funding for the games that we want. But if that's all we're here for, then we're really losing 90% of the reason why we should be here. Because we should be here really to be supporting the greater gaming community, the greater creation community. So one of the other things that I actually started doing as well is I actually started creating a development blog specifically for how-to processes that I use in creating prototypes and in creating different things like that. And I just started sharing it out to different groups that I knew would value those. So different Facebook groups that often ask questions about how people make certain kinds of things, how people make their own prototypes. I just started writing blogs on how I myself do it and shared it out to these groups so that they're available for anyone who wants to be able to use.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. So where do we find these said blogs, Jonathan?
They reside on our main website, OOMMGames.com, and just in the blog section. And then just any time that I'm on Facebook that I find people asking questions about them, I automatically share into the post the relevant blog entries regarding that as well.
Oh, okay. So that's awesome. Yeah, like they said, give back, and that's awesome. So you got that blog there, and you built the mailing list. So when you were at the cons and stuff, when you were showcasing your game and stuff, did you just have like a clipboard or something, or ask people if they were interested, if they sign up for the mailing list so they know when you launch, or how did you go down? How did that go down?
We did a giveaway at every single convention. So I actually went out of my way trying to look through game stores to find what I knew would be a very popular game. picked up a copy and just did it as a giveaway for signing up for a mailing list. And then as well, we also had a demo table set up at every con for people to be able to sit down and play the game, take as long as they want, and just learn the game in and out.
Awesome. So, I don't know if you've sent out any mailings or whatnot before now, or if you've sent it out in mailings, but have you noticed people staying involved, even if they just signed up for a giveaway?
Most people actually stay involved, even if they just signed up for the giveaway, I found. I actually have, I've done mailing list maintenance in my previous job as well. And in my previous job, we had on average a 10 to 15% open rate of our emails. One of the things that we're finding right now is that regardless of how big our mailing list gets, we're maintaining about a 40% open rate, 35 to 40% open rate on our mailing.
Well, that's pretty good. Any secrets you care to share with us on how you're being able to get them to open it, or I guess you just have a really great game?
I think definitely having content people want is important as well. So one of the big things is we have links to our blog on every single email. And if we've written a new email recently, we also put a quick summary of information on there regarding the blog. Generally, we also have a quick tip for people as well on just something that they can use in their own game design. So whether it be a slightly better way we found when making cards, or a way to set up templates slightly better, things like that. So just a quick little tip that people can use when they're wanting to start making their own designs. And then the majority of the newsletter, though, is all about what we're doing. And the biggest thing that we do with our newsletters is we're very transparent. So if something's gone wrong, something's delaying things on our end, we are very honest about that, and we make sure that everyone who's receiving that newsletter knows why something might be delayed or why something's going on. The biggest thing is if someone's given you their email, they've given you a bit of trust. So you never want to betray that trust in any way by trying to hide over something that might be going wrong and trying to push it aside and just say things are okay. You always want to be as honest as possible so that people know that when you bring a game to them, that you're going to be honest about anything that might go wrong with that in the future.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say that's good. Honesty is the best policy. So, yeah, I'd agree with you. So that's awesome. So yeah, so just getting a mailing list and whatnot and trying to build that up and showcasing the game as well as giveaways and then offering content that they really want. That's awesome. Now, per se, somebody's fallen asleep, Jonathan, it wouldn't be because of you or your great game. It'd be because of me and my podcast. At the start of this, we're at the end of August, and at the time of recording, we have 141 episodes out since the time of since the first of the year, so they get a little tired of me drone on and on. But now they're suddenly jolted awake, so they're not hit on the oncoming traffic or whatnot. Why should they take a chance and go at least check out the No Escape page there on Kickstarter, especially with all the other great games on Kickstarter currently?
Well, one of the biggest things about No Escape is the fact that it appeals to pretty much any age level. It's a great family game, a great party game. One of the most common comments that we've received from reviewers is that they feel it's a great game for just the beginning of the night for a big games night to get everyone in the mood for playing a bigger game. One of the biggest feedbacks that we've gotten from playtesters of different age groups is that they think it's a great game to be able to bring home to their family to play during board game nights. So it really hits a wide range of people that will be able to enjoy it. All the way from teenagers and younger up to older people it's been tested with. And a lot of people really, really enjoy the simple mechanics that the game has, but the complexity of being able to completely change around the board very quickly. So it has a very, very wide appeal.
Well, that's good. And yeah, you brought it up, but per se, they don't want to take your word for it. If you talk to reviewers or whatnot, well, who are some of the reviewers that are reviewing this game that they can go see what they thought of it?
So some of the reviewers that we've had review the game is Nick from Board Game Collective, Brian from Just Got Played, Michael Wright from The Unfiltered Gamer, David Jensen from Everything Board Games, Cyrus Kirby from Father Geek, Rob Callaghan from Pawn's Perspective, Tyler Anderson from Bearded Meeple, Brian Everett from Cloak and Meeple, and Jason Myers from The Verge. The game is actually also currently being reviewed right now by the Dice Tower as well.
Okay, awesome. And I recall something, I don't know if it changes for everyone, but last time this was running, it became a Project We Love on Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's correct. It had been a Project We Love at the time. I don't know if we're still going to get that or not. That is going to be entirely up to Kickstarter. But we're hoping that we might be able to get Projects We Love as well again.
Cool. And if I recall, you explained the process to me a little bit last time, but you got a connection with somebody there and they went ahead and liked the game or something?
One of the first things is you have to get a connection there, and there's a few different ways you can go about doing that. But the easiest way is actually to go to the conventions where Kickstarter itself is going to have a presence and talk to them. Just talk to them like people. Talk to them about the fact that you have this game that you're going to be putting on their platform, and wondering if they'd like to have a copy for review themselves. They're not going to write a review about it, but they'll test it themselves. And if they think that it's a good enough game, they'll add it on to their projects they love.
Awesome. Where did you run into them at? What conference, if you don't mind us asking?
I actually didn't personally run into them. I have someone that I know that is very good with friends with them there. And so they personally introduced me to someone at Kickstarter. But from that, I actually asked them what the best way to meet them normally is, and this is the answer that they gave me.
Okay, awesome. And imagine you can Google that and see what cons they might be at, so that's pretty cool. That's nice to know. So if anybody's listening that is wondering how people do that, there you go. So that's awesome. Now, I know you were on a while back ago, and I'm not sure if you've been listening in the meantime, but the next portion of our show, Jonathan, is called Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about an app, be it for your cell phone, your tablet, your computer, or even a video game. And it doesn't even necessarily have to deal with finding the nearest escape pod and getting out alive before everybody else, or tabletop board gaming for that matter. Is there an app you use a lot of that we can talk about for a moment, Jonathan?
Sure. There's an app that I use a lot of, especially with getting ready for the Kickstarter and with going around to conventions that I use quite a bit. Probably an app that a lot of other people who are listening right now also use. And that's the Mailchimp app, actually.
Oh, okay. Is that on the computer or just a mobile app for it?
Mobile and tablet. It has a couple different parts that you can get for it. It has just the main Mailchimp app where you can go in and maintain your mail list, set up new mail lists, everything like that. So it essentially has the full functionality of just logging into Mailchimp. But the secondary app that Mailchimp has is it's a sign-up app where essentially you set up a quick sign-up template to link into your mail list, and you just have that running all the time on the app. So I find it very useful when I'm at conventions. I have a tablet that I bring with me, and I just have that running on the app all the time. And it's just a quick sign-up. If someone is interested in more information, they just immediately put their information into the app, quick sign up, they're done.
Okay, so you're saying you're bringing that instead of a clipboard where they write everything down.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds a lot easier.
Yeah, it's very quick and easy because they enter their information, they're done. You don't have to go through and enter everything later. And then the follow-up for that I have at conventions that really makes sure that people actually confirm their email is what I do for the prize giveaway that I do is they have to have confirmed their email by the time I'm going to do the prize draw to be eligible for winning the prize.
Oh, okay. So it's not just a one and done, and then they don't look at the email. They have to actually go in and confirm. That's pretty cool.
They actually have to go in and confirm. And the other thing that does is the app will actually store all the information of everyone who's signed on for you or signed up for you through the app. And you can either go in through the app and pull that information, or you can go onto the main Mailchimp list, and it'll organize it, if you want, specifically just by the people who have signed up through the app. So it makes it really easy for prize draws that way.
Oh, cool. Awesome. So do you use the app for anything besides the sign up, or do you do that for to send out mailings as well?
Actually, I bring the app around with me every time I'm doing a demo anywhere. So whenever I'm at the meetups, and even if I'm not demoing my game, I have the app there available for if anyone is asking about the company, asking about games and that, I can just quickly pull it out and they can sign up for more information. Anytime I'm traveling anywhere, I always make sure I have it. So it's just very quick and easy to use to make sure to increase your mail list that way very quickly.
Okay, that sounds awesome. So if you own the rights to MailChimp or any of those apps, what would be one thing you would do to fix them or make them better, Jonathan?
I'd definitely add a little bit more usability between the different apps. You have a lot of access to everything, and you're pretty much able to do everything you want once you go through and do it. It's just not the most intuitive system to use sometimes, and it can sometimes take a bit longer than you'd expect to set things up. Once things are set up, it usually runs really quick and easy. It's just the initial setup is not always the easiest to use.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, we try to make a green podcast around here, so if anybody who has to deal with the updates or anything on MailChimp or their apps is ever listening, you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, what Jonathan, the creator mastermind behind No Escape, the board game, would do to make that app a little bit better and make it easier to set up and whatnot, so that's awesome. Now, something I forgot to mention, I saw this later on down on your page, like you talked about when we were first talking about trying to not just trying to give back to the community and stuff. It looks like you're working with a couple other board game creators or something. It says later down on your page. What can you tell us about that, the other games you're working with?
Yeah, so we actually just signed a contract recently with the creator of Last One Standing, Brendan McCassell, and we have brought on his board game. He did a Kickstarter in the spring, and it was successfully funded, and he's actually doing a print run right now of the game. And it's a very unique game in the fact that it's the first Battle Royale style board game that we've seen. So we're very interested in taking that on and developing it further. And we have a few big name companies that we're planning on talking to try and get some official licensing done regarding with it as well. So we're really excited to be working with other developers now as well. And we're planning on just expanding that and continuing to bring not just our own games to people, but other games that we think are worth showcasing and really worth trying to put out as well as they should be.
Okay, so in more capacity as opposed to they run a Kickstarter and it's a one and done?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of one and done games out there, and this was definitely a one and done game. The developer, he has some ideas for the future for what to do, but there wasn't a lot that he was planning on doing specifically with Last One Standing. So we're really trying to just pick it up from where it is right now and start trying to take it to the next level.
Oh, okay, awesome. And also one other thing, on your website, it looks like it says, I know we're focused on No Escape because we want to see that become a reality, but it said coming soon. There was supposed to be a you're supposed to be revealing a new game coming out too as well?
That is actually the spot for Last One Standing.
Okay, so that's going to go there. Okay.
Yeah, that's going to go right there.
Okay, awesome. So maybe they heard of it before you put it on the website, depending on if we beat the website in getting this episode released or not.
Well, we're actually going to be putting this up in the next couple days here on the website. So.
Yeah, said it was okay, awesome. So yeah, that's what you'll see in that spot. So that's awesome. Now, minus coming there to Canada to stalk you in person or whatnot, how would people go about seeing what you have going on later on, and both now with No Escape and what you have going on later on with OOMM Games? How would they keep up with you, Jonathan?
Well, one of the best ways to do it would be sign up for our mailing list. You can do that on our website at OOMM Games. There's a couple different points in there to do it. You can also, for some quick info regarding No Escape, you can go to the landing page noescape.oomgames.com. And you can always follow us on the different conventions that we're going to be traveling to. We might not always be traveling to them in person. One of the things that we like to do is we actually like to use the services of the Indie Game Alliance. And so the Indie Game Alliance actually brought No Escape to 3 conventions for us this last summer. They brought it to Origins, to Gen Con, and to Dice Tower Con for us this last summer, because we ourselves weren't able to make it. So I highly actually recommend the use of the Indie Game Alliance for anyone who would like to try and get some more exposure for their game, but is unable to travel to as many conventions as they'd like to.
So what is that exactly? What's the Indie Game Alliance exactly, Jonathan?
The Indie Game Alliance, what it is, it's you sign up for the service, and once you sign up for the service, you have access to a whole pile of bonuses for being a member. So you have to be a member of the Indie Game Alliance to get these bonuses and services. But they give you such things as discounts on the manufacture of your games, links with artists, often at discounted rates, and links with different companies that will send you prototyping material, all sorts of different things like that. So they're really they go and source all this information for you, and will often get deals for you on a lot of these different things. And they also offer convention services on top of that. So you have to pay for convention services for them to represent your game at these conventions, and they'll give you a certain amount of time period during the convention in which they focus purely on your game. So it can be really helpful if you just can't make it to the convention, but you want to make sure you're represented there, in just joining the Indie Game Alliance and signing up for the convention services. And there's all sorts of different things that they give you as bonuses just for being a member.
Awesome. And how do people go about it? I imagine they have a website or something?
Yeah, they have a website. It's just the indiegamealliance.com.
Okay, we'll make sure we leave all the links in the show notes. Just go ahead and, if you're able, whatever links you can get us, we'll make sure we go ahead and leave those in the show notes so people can go ahead and find them without having to type them in or whatnot. Any final parting words on why they should at least go check out No Escape by OOMM Games over there on Kickstarter?
Well, if you're wanting to get a new game, but you don't want to break the bank getting one right now, No Escape is perfect for you. It's not a high buy-in for the game. It's 49 Canadian, so that's approximately 39 US. And we're also launching the Kickstarter with the first expansion ready to go. The first expansion adds in co-op rules. It adds in a new game element of aliens, other survivors, and it just adds in whole new game elements that completely change the way you can play. So it makes it that the game has multiple modes of play, as well as multiple different aspects that you can add in to make it as complex a game as you want.
Awesome, man. I know you don't overpromise and underdeliver, but say somebody likes what they've heard and they like what they see on the Kickstarter page, so they go ahead and back it. When would they anticipate getting their game so they can try to be the first one to escape and leave their friends in the dust?
Well, one of the biggest things right now is with us coming into the end of the year and closer to the holiday season, a lot of the print shops are really filled up at this point in time. So we're not even going to be able to hit the printer most likely until January. And unfortunately, that's just the reality of the industry at this point in time. So what we're hoping to do is to be able to get the games out to people by the end of March to April kind of thing. If we can get it out earlier, then we're going to be happy. Everyone's going to be happy. But just because of the reality of all the orders that the print shops are getting at this point in time for holiday orders, we're not expecting to be able to get the game printed before January.
Okay, awesome. And it looks like shipping isn't that bad as well. Like, if you're in the continental United States, it's only $5.
Yeah, we tried to keep shipping down as much as possible with the game.
Well, that's awesome. I know people appreciate that. So, yeah, we'll make sure we leave links in the show notes or whatnot. We don't want to keep you all night, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us tonight to talk about No Escape, Jonathan.
Well, thank you for having me tonight.
No problem. Well, that was great. So glad we could get Jonathan on to talk all about No Escape, the board game. So if you want to show support or you liked anything we talked about, go ahead and jump over and check out his Kickstarter page. If he hasn't launched yet, when you're listening, go ahead and click notify us upon launch, and it'll give you an email when it launches. And let's go ahead and back that project if it looks like anything you might like. But anyways, now it's time, that least favorite time. But in the meantime, before I let you know what I usually let you know, make sure you jump over to our website over at GameReliefGo.com to check out all about our giveaway, in which one lucky listener will win a copy of Hitler's Reich from myself, the Giveaway Geek, Logan Chops Reviews, and also BG News. This was on the BGG's top games, or their hotness list, a while back ago, and it is a worldwide giveaway. How you go about entering? You jump over to www.GameReliefGo, kind of like PokemonGo.com, and go ahead and click on the link that says current giveaway, and then you can go ahead and enter. I believe you have through the 7th of September or something like that, so it's drawing to a close. But anyways, in the meantime, besides entering that giveaway, before we catch you tomorrow, I think it is, go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring other than geekfold, and we'll catch you all on the, you guessed it, flip side. Game Relief out.